Hey guys, in this video we're going to do a brief overview of the operational controls of our automatic traveling head press. So if you want to come in, this is the main opening page, and so we just hit enter and that'll bring us to our operation interface. So we have lights on the very top illuminating which mode we're in, and you can see if we twist the knob we can go automatic, manual, and semi-automatic, as well as setting mode. So we're going to go over this page real quick and we'll see that we have the set production. This is how many products the press is going to cut out. So if you want to cut out 10,000 products, you can set that and the press will cut out 10,000 products and then stop. And then current production shows you exactly how many has been cut out as it's going, and you can clear it by hitting the clear button. Rising height is exactly what it says it is. It's the rising height of the press in time, so a smaller number won't rise as much. So now this micro switch, this is an option on this press which moves the cutting board around to keep from getting too deep of grooves when you're cutting. So these are options for that. It'll do it every 2 rows and it will move it for 1 second. So then we have our 0 reset. So when we hit this, it resets the 0 of all of our axes. So it'll bring the head over to its 0 position, as well as on this press it will rotate the head to its 0 position. So we'll move into the manual operation page, and here we can manually operate the press. We can move the head left and right, and we can adjust the speed here, and we can also see the position that it's currently in. We can also rotate the head left and right, and we have speed and angle there again as well. Now with the feeding rollers, the down and up buttons are what controls the pressure that is put on to the material between the rollers. So if you hit up, it will lift the rollers up so you can feed your material through the press to get it set up, and then hitting down will lower the rollers, locking it into place, ready for use. And then forward and backward advances your material forward or backward depending on which button you push, as well as we have the feeding speed here. This unit is also equipped with the waste rewinder, and so here is where you'll turn that on and off. We'll now move into parameter settings. So this is where we're going to set up for when we're setting up our application. This is where you set your parameters for your die. So we have the speed that the head will move is automatic traverse speed, and then we have the automatic feeding speed, and that's how fast the material will feed, as well as automatic rotation speed, which is how fast the head will rotate. And then we have transverse initial distance. This is how far in you want the first cut to be on your material, and then the transverse distance is the spacing between cuts after that. So dislocation distance is for when we're nesting our dies. So on the second row, it will move back whatever distance you put in here so that we can nest our dies and save on material and not have as much waste. So feeding distance 1 and 2 is going to be how far it feeds the material. This will also be based off of your die. So this is made so that we can adjust different feeding distances for when we have the die rotated. As well as number of traverse is how many cuts it'll do in 1 row along the material. Now this press, as we said before, has a rotating head, so we can also set the initial rotation for the first cut, as well as the rotation that it does either between each row or each cut. And so we can turn on and off rotation here, and we can change it between each row or each cut. We also have the option to save different dies so that you only have to enter this in for any specific die once. And so if this is all the information we have for die number 1, we'll hit save, and that will save die number 1. Now if we go to die number 2 and click read, you can see all the information changes because it's a different die. And so if we want to go back to 1, we'll just enter 1 and hit enter, and we can see we're back to all of the information that we have here. In our I/O check, this is a diagnostics page. This tells us, we can see our mode up at the top, semi-automatic. We can also see if we're hitting limits or all the different sensors. We can see what's going on, and this helps diagnose if there's ever anything going wrong. And advanced parameters is not anything you need to worry about. It's a locked page that has to have a password. This is programming for the machine, and so it is locked and doesn't need to be accessed. So that is our basic functions and operation for the traveling head press.